Hey guys, Pastor Ross here from thechristianwell.org. Today you're joining me in this beautiful garden center. As you know, my wife and I, we own a garden center, and I'm not going to tell you where, and I'm not going to tell you the name because I don't think that's right to put a plug in my ministry. It's not about that. What it's about though is one of the questions that I get asked and my wife gets asked the most. I mean, it's the number one question when we go out to do a landscape estimate for an install. They ask, I want low maintenance plants. Is there low maintenance plants? And we tell them, yes, there are some that are lower maintenance than others. And we walk them through the garden center, and my wife does, and I do, and you know, they'll point to this plant, and you know, it's an azalea, and they'll say, well, is it low maintenance? And I'm like, well, yes and no. Yes, it's one of the lower maintenance plants, but you do have to do stuff to them. When you plant any plant, no matter what it is, you have to water it. A lot of people think you don't even have to water plants when you plant them. No, you got to water them for a couple of weeks for them to get established with a water hose. In this hot Georgia sun, the irrigation that pops up in your yard's not going to do it. You have to do it with a water hose. But they ask, is this low maintenance? I'm like, no. You gotta trim it after it blooms. You gotta fertilize it once a year. And they're like, oh, I don't want that. And then we'll walk to the next one, and it's hydrangea, and they're like, well, how about this one? Is it low maintenance? I'm like, well, yes and no. Again, you have to trim it. Every year you have to fertilize it. It loses all of its leaves in the wintertime, and they're like, oh, no, I don't want that. And that's too much maintenance for me. And so we walk to the next plant, and it's a tractor seat, or farfugium, if you will. It's down here, or you know, something that blooms real pretty. You know, you have to do something called deadheading. When the blooms dry up, you have to actually pull the blooms off to make it bloom again. And guess what they say? Oh, no, I don't want that. That's too much maintenance. There is always maintenance with plants. And I got news for you. There is always maintenance with people. Always. You have to water people. You have to give them attention. You can't, I know a lot of people, and I've thought this, I would love to just go live in the woods and be left alone. Well, you can't do that. There's always maintenance with people. People always have problems. Always. People are always going to get on your nerves. Always. I don't care if it's somebody you love the most. They're the ones that get on your nerve the most. I've told you about my children and how much they tick me off sometimes, but we're working on that. But you will always have maintenance with plants and with people. Always. There is no low maintenance plant. There is no low maintenance person. They need love. They need water. They need care. They need talking to. The only thing God said when He was creating the earth, He said, and there was light, and it was good. And there was the oceans and the land and the animals, and He said it was good. But watch, right after that, He said the only thing that wasn't good is for man to be alone. And my brothers and sisters, it's not good. We need each other. But you're going to have to put up with that maintenance. You're going to have to put the time in with people. You're going to have to pick up that phone and check on them and say, how are you? And me, I'm a pastor, and sometimes I just want to be left alone. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes people bug me. Sometimes my own family members, they bug me. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to stand up here and say I'm perfect and I don't ever think about going to live in the woods to be left alone. But we all do. But it is not good. God said it is not good for man to be alone. We all just want someone to talk to. We're all searching for a heart that's not walking away. Every last one of us, that's the one thing we're searching for. And we have that in Jesus Christ. But with people, we got to put the work in. He's the only one that loves us unconditionally. That we don't have to put the work in. All we have to do is just believe. But people, you have to pick up the phone and call them. You have to tell somebody you love them. Wrap your arms around them. You have to put the work in. You have to do the maintenance. There is no such thing as low maintenance. Plants, you know, they're alive. They're alive. I don't know if you know this, but they actually did studies to see when you talk to plants, when you actually talk to them, hey little guy, how are you today? When you talk to plants, they respond and they grow. Believe it or not, they thrive. They have proved this. So if plants grow and thrive when you talk to them, if plants grow and thrive when you fertilize them, when you water them, when you talk to them, if they do that, could you imagine what people would do? If you talk to them, if you water them, if you help them grow, man, this world would be a huge nursery, one beautiful garden. And that's what it's intended to be. God intended it that way. But no, we want to go live in the woods somewhere by ourselves. We don't want to put in the maintenance. We don't want to water. My brothers and sisters, water your brothers and sisters. Water your brothers and sisters. Watch them grow. And watch this garden that we call earth turn into the Garden of Eden. It was meant that way. But it's our fault that it's not that way. So let's make God's garden grow. Let's make God's garden grow.